Well, I said I'd make a video for you real quick, so I'm doing that now. This is my 82 Z28 Camaro. I've dubbed it the Miller Bandit because that's actually what it was called in the 80s by a guy who's local to me. I've been stripping the interior out on mine. I don't know how it is for the automatic shifters, but I had to take my shift linkage out. So I can do that. You can do that both up top and down below because there's linkage attached to the side of your transmission. Let's grab a light here. And then drain all the fluids, drain the oil, drain the transmission. I removed the brake master cylinder. It's just these two nuts. It makes it a little easier to get down in there for me in some of this stuff, because mine being a 4-speed car, it had a Z-bar, that bracket you see sitting against the firewall. That was sitting there. It won't have that for your car being yours an automatic. Well, the accessories off the front, there's a bunch of bolts. Like, I believe these guys are all facing forward, and then there's going to be a bracket that comes out from your power steering with a couple bolts facing backwards. You got to get them with bunch of different things. I just cut the tubing off for the evap stuff. So this crap here, I just got a pair of bolt cutters and cut them off because it's never going to get used again. Undid the fuel pump, undid the fuel lines. I ended up connecting them back together so that way they didn't drain all over the place, because they will drain all over the place. Ideally, you want to remove your distributor back here with a, grab a different light. It's a little better. It's got a 9/16 bolt sitting back there. You'll be able to see it and feel it. Mine, I can't get it out because the aluminum corroded onto the steel. Go figure. It's a, God, how old is this car? 38-year-old car. I think that's right. Obviously remove the radiator. Remove your core support, your fan from your water pump. You can either leave your water pump on or take it off. I'm just going to leave it on along with the harmonic balancer and crank pulley because they just don't really get in the way. I might pull the 3 bolts for this crank pulley that are down here. I might pull these off just to get a little bit extra room. But the harmonic balancer, it's one that you need a press tool to get off anyways, so you might as well just leave it on there. We'll go underneath here. Sorry, my shop's a mess. I've been tearing this car apart and not had very much time to clean it. Let's set that there. Okay. Climbing underneath, you want to remove your drive shaft. It's just 4 bolts. And then it slides out of the yoke here. Put a drain pan underneath it because it's going to puke some fluid out. Undo, this is called your torque arm. And this arm here, this big ass arm that runs from the transmission to the rear axle, sits in these rubber bushings, and there's 2 bolts right here that you undo. And then you can slide the bracket. You can tilt it and slide it this way, or slide it forward and down, and it'll come out and allow you to put your torque arm. Like, I've got mine sitting on house jacks, so it's actually not going anywhere. And then I've just got the front sitting on some tires because I don't have any ramps. Undo your speedometer cable. I haven't undone that yet. Any sensors and linkage that you might have up in here. So, like, you know, mine, I've just got this reverse sensor so that way it knows to go into reverse when I put it in that gear. Drain your fluids if you can. This transmission doesn't have a drain pan, but it's actually going to make it a lot easier if you can just drain your engine, your transmission, and your coolant. It makes less mess later on. At the end of it then, there's 2 bolts here. Let's see. A bolt right here you want to undo. A bolt right there you want to undo. And 2 more on the side. So these are these cross member bolts are a through bolt here. So you got a wrench up there and a socket down here. They're probably going to be rusty for you. The only reason these ones might not be is because the transmission was out last year, and before I decided to do the motor swap. Put that out of the way because it hasn't leaked in a while. Ah, shit. My creeper sucks. Okay. So right here, there we go. I'm going to shed a little light on the subject. You got, well, this design is just 2. For some reason, I thought it was 3. There's a lot of cars that are 3. I'm a mechanic by trade, so some things end up kind of meshing into other stuff. You want to pull your starter out, which is going to be this bolt and this bolt. Undo the wiring for it. There's a little bracket back here that needs undone so your wiring can hang free and doesn't snag up, because there's a little tube that your starter wiring runs through, so that way it doesn't get melted by the exhaust. Undo these bolts. Usually they're ruined, like mine broke off here. And then you should be able to just drop the transmission or the exhaust out of the way. Mine was cut off at the back of the cat, so the whole thing just went in the scrap bin. And then there's a motor mount there. Can't really see it there very well on that side. And there's a motor mount right there. It's a clamshell. I'll go back up top and show you what it looks like. It's called a clamshell motor mount. And the only thing you need to do to take that out is remove that bolt right there at the bottom of the clamshell. There's a nut on the backside. The bolt and the nut size are different sizes. And then you should be able to, like mine's still got the factory hooks somehow. Somebody didn't rip those all off. So I'll be able to hook through there. If not, I'd just run a bolt through a chain and hook it to there and do the same thing on the backside on the opposite corner. And then just make sure you got plenty of ground clearance going out. Should be ready to rock and roll. It doesn't take that long. I've been working at this. Yeah, I'll put like a couple hours in at a time on the weekend, but also I've been entirely stripping the car down to get it prepped for racing, which is a whole different process in itself as far as the inside and fixing rust holes and shit. So if you have any other questions, feel free to text, man. I'm happy to help. There's a lot of assholes that just want to assume you don't know shit, and it's like you just want to learn.